The man was on the verge of freezing to death. With no other options, he took apart a bullet. He poured the gunpowder onto some dry wood, then snapped nearby branches and laid them around the powder. He placed the empty casing close to the pile, then pointed the primer end of the shell toward the powder. Using a knife he found on the ground, he held the blade against the primer and began striking it repeatedly with a rock. Finally, a spark ignited, a fire that could save his life. But the danger wasn't over yet. Bruce had to treat his gunshot wound before his enemies caught up. He took off one of his socks and stuffed it into his mouth to muffle the pain. Then he picked up the knife from the ground. After bracing himself, he dug the blade into the wound. With grit and precision, he eventually pried the bullet out of his arm. To keep the wound from getting infected, he placed the knife in the fire. Once the blade glowed red hot, he pressed it against the open wound on his arm. Meanwhile, the bounty hunters were closing in. Bruce realized he had stayed in one place for too long. To cover his tracks, he used a branch to sweep away his footprints in the snow. But then it hit him. That wouldn't be enough. They'd find him sooner or later. If he really wanted to escape, he needed a flawless plan. As he looked at the large tree behind him, an idea sparked. At that same moment, the bounty hunters discovered the remains of the fire. They split up to search for him. Unbeknownst to them, Bruce had climbed up the tree. Soon, one of them walked right beneath it. He noticed the tracks in the snow led up to the tree and vanished. Puzzled, he looked up, and Bruce hurled the knife down at him, killing him instantly. When the man's partner found the body, everyone was horrified by what they saw. The man's stomach had been sliced open. It turned out Bruce had gutted the corpse to warm his own frostbitten hands with its insides. Now, Bruce left the forest behind. He found a house at the base of the mountain and stole their horse, but the bounty hunters were still on his trail. Time for a new plan. He lit a large campfire. Thick smoke quickly rose above the forest canopy, giving the bounty hunters a clear direction to follow. Bruce, hidden in the shadows, watched as they approached the fire, but he didn't attack. He was waiting for the right moment, for one of them to split off from the group. But by nightfall, the opportunity never came. Bruce had no choice but to retreat and regroup. The next day, he stumbled upon a brown bear, dead in a steel trap, and with that, a brutal idea began to form.